Well, welcome to this week's show. Welcome to the wonderful Esseborn Manor. We've come back here tonight for a little secret reason. And in about a couple of minutes' time, I'm going to explain to you why. But you may remember the prize winners of our competition a couple of weeks ago, or a month ago or so. Little surprise in store for them tonight. On this week's show, we've got the fantastic fashion show from London at Longstock Village Hall. We're going to be there covering that. And we've got our new Marcus car turning up, which is absolutely incredible. The Marcus LM500. LM stands for Le Mans. We're going to be driving that up from the Marcus factory to actually show it at the fashion show. We've also had many calls about our clips of Sense and Sensibility, the film with Emma Thompson in, written, of course, by Jane Austen. And we're going to be bringing the gala premiere to you next week of that from Winchester. That's going to be really exciting. But on the show this week, we've got the Suzuki, the four-wheel drive Suzuki. And we really put it through its paces up at Salisbury Racecourse. Lots of mud. Steve, the cameraman, got soaked, but it was really good fun. But anyway, let's go back to where we are. We're at Esseborn Manor, and if you remember, a couple of weeks ago, Marty and Martin Tully won the competition to stay the weekend at Esseborn Manor. Now, they don't know we're here, so we're going to go inside and surprise them in the true Jeremy Beadle fashion. So let's hope they're enjoying themselves. Follow me. Well, I've heard that Marty and Martin Tully are actually staying in the bridal suite, the new one upstairs. Is that right, Ian?
Yes, that's correct. We've had a new bridal suite just redecorated by an interior decorator. We've done all this because we've now got a license for doing civil wedding ceremonies here.
Really? But you can actually get married in this room?
You can get married in this room. This is the room that is licensed for wedding ceremonies.
That's quite a new thing, isn't it?
It's very new. The law has only been passed in the last year, and I think we're the first people in Andover to get that license.
So what actually happens? Does the registrar come out, or whoever?
Yes, the registrar from Andover comes out and does the ceremony in this room here. And then the couple usually have a reception in the room. They will have photographs taken in the gardens outside, and spend the night in the bridal suite.
That's a pretty sort of radical new departure, isn't it? Can people come from anywhere? Is it just can they come from Salisbury if they want to, or
they can come from anywhere? We've got people coming down from London and from the Midlands to get married here. I've already got about 10 or 12 wedding ceremonies lined up for this year.
What a wonderful idea! I think that's amazing. I didn't realise that could actually happen there. That's really good.
Yes. This is the latest thing to happen. So much more interesting than getting married in a registry office.
Yeah, some of those are a little bit grim, aren't they?
They are. That's right. Yes.
Okay. Well, fantastic, and thank you so much for entertaining the Town TV prize winners. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, I just heard the front door. I think they're coming now. Ian, you better go and find our prize winners. Here they come. Here they come. Well, surprise, surprise. Well done. Well done. Well done, Martin. Well done, Marty.
Thank you.
Thanks for winning. Thanks for coming to Esseborn Manor. It's brilliant. Have you met Ian before? No. Well done.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. And I heard you're going to have a wonderful meal, and I think you're also going to be staying in the bridal suite. Is that right?
Bridal suite, that's right. Yes, and we've got complimentary champagne up there for you as well. Thank you.
Can I stay as well? That's okay. Well, have a great time, and thanks for going into the competition. It's absolutely brilliant. Okay. So enjoy yourselves. And we'll go on. We don't want to interrupt tonight, so we'll see you later. Bye for now. Bye. Bye. Well, we've got Motoring Mania here on Town TV. We're charging all over the place these next few months, looking at cars. And we're in wonderful Wilton today. You all know where Wilton is, just west of Salisbury, good cable territory. And we're going to be looking at this new Suzuki 2-litre diesel. In fact, we're going to take it for a road test. And it's a really beautiful looking car, nice and solid. And we're going to be trying it. But first I'm going to interview Chris Pacey. He's the boss over here at Bray & Sear. Now, Bray & Sear are exclusive Suzuki dealers. They've got a premises here in Wilton, and they've got one down in Bournemouth. So thanks to them, we're going to be driving this around. Steve and myself are going to be road testing it. It should be quite fun. So we'll show you exactly how it goes. But as I say, first we're going to talk to Mr. Chris Pacey. And I think he may have a customer in there as well. We can find out what Suzukis are really like. So we'll see you inside. Well, welcome to these palatial showrooms of Bray & Sear. Normally you see these Suzukis rushing around beaches in California, you know, Baywatch and all that sort of stuff. But it's parked right here in Wilton. And I'm with Chris Pacey, the dealer principal. Right?
Yes.
Of Bray & Sear. So how are you doing, Chris?
Very well, thank you.
Are you busy?
Fairly busy for this time of the year, yes.
That's really good.
four-wheel drive vehicles needed to be used on these roads, and these are the ideal vehicles for this time of the year.
Especially in some of the snow we've just had as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Incredible. So how long have you been in Wilton?
Since 1989, we launched the business here in Salisbury, March of 90. But we've actually been selling Suzuki since 1979 at Bournemouth.
Really? So you've got a big branch down there as well?
Yes. Probably one of the longest lasting Suzuki dealers in the country.
So you're an exclusive Suzuki dealer?
Probably, you could say that, yeah. We know most things about Suzukis.
That's right. So what do you think about Wilton? It's a nice town, isn't it?
Very, very nice, yes. Love to be here.
You've got some very loyal customers too, I think.
Very loyal. Some people, in fact, we've got a customer here now that's had 7 Suzukis
Really?
from this dealership.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course, it's a good farming area too, isn't it? So I suppose a lot of people use them for off-road.
That's right, yes. Yeah.
We're going to be trying out your diesel over there, the 2-litre diesel, in a minute, which will be quite fun.
And you'll enjoy that very much.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I hope we will. We're going to just...
That's the latest vehicle.
Really?
That's the flagship of Suzuki at the moment.
Yeah. Suzuki's have come on a long way since they used to look like just the ordinary Jeeps, haven't they? They've sort of widened the bodies and done all that sort of...
Was the first four-wheel drive was the LJ80, which was an 800cc vehicle, which is still very popular if you could get one.
Yeah. Very trendy image, Suzuki's. I mean, you've got the workhorse like the diesel outside, but you've got these things, as I say, for the Baywatch babes. But I mean, they're really wonderful, aren't they? They really look good. And you've got an exciting new one coming out. Tell me about that.
Yes, well, in March, at the end of March, we're going to reopen or have an open day, and there's going to be a new two-door, two-wheel drive Vitara, but it's going to be a new looking...
Entirely new concept of design, isn't it? It's quite futuristic.
People who went to the motor show will have seen it there, but we're going to have it here on March the 29th.
It looks a bit like a pickup at the back, doesn't it? But it's very futuristic looking.
That's right, yes, very, very useful.
So when's your open day?
March the 29th.
So there you are, March the 29th at Bray and Sear here in Wilton. They're going to be unveiling the new X90, I think, isn't it?
Yes.
It looks sensational, and that's a totally unbiased opinion. But we're hopefully going to be trying that later on. But for now, we're going to go and have a go in this diesel. But I think first we're going to speak to, what's the name of your customer?
Mr. Polding.
Mr. Polding. We're going to have a word with him and get a genuine view of Suzuki's, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
smashing.
Truthful view.
Right, thanks for talking to us. Let's go and have a look. Right, I was stood in the street just now talking to Chris Pacey, and he said, there's Fred Sturmey going past. And I said, who's Fred Sturmey? And he said, he must be Wilton's longest living resident. Is that right?
No,
Not really.
No. I think it's a few older than me.
Is there?
I think so.
Well, you're looking very well on it.
Yeah.
So how long have you been in Wilton, Fred?
Oh, all my life.
Have you?
Yeah.
But somebody tells me you opened this showroom. Is that right? Did you open this? Because your name's on the wall in there, isn't it?
That's true.
And why is it on the wall in there?
Because I cut the ribbon.
You cut the ribbon.
Oh, yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Cool. When was that then?
Goodness knows.
A few years ago now.
5.
About 5 years ago. Yeah, I think it was 1989. I think Chris Pacey was telling me. But so you live here in Wilton, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All my life.
All your life. So if you look into that lens over there and give them all a big wave. See that lens there? Give them all a big wave. See, everybody knows Fred here in Wilton. So thanks very much for talking to us.
Right.
And maybe one day we'll take you out for a drive in the Suzuki.
Oh, yeah, you do that,
Okay. Thank you very much, Fred. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Well, we're finding lots of people walking through Wilton today, or in fact driving through Wilton, and we found Mr. and Mrs. Hugh and Vicky Paulding.
True.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what are you doing here in Wilton?
Well, I just come down really. I passed through to Salisbury, and I very often pop in here. One, I've had a service done on the V6, and now I've just come in to book service of Vicky Swift.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you got a Swift as well?
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, Swift by name and Swift by nature.
Very nice too.
Yeah.
So how long have you been driving Suzuki's?
Well, Hugh, you've been driving one for how long?
Oh, about
I've only just had mine.
8 years, and Vicky's just got hers August this year.
So a nice unbiased opinion on how they drive, because we can't give too many plugs, but they're not bad, are they?
No, good, comfortable, safe ride.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So this is yours here, is it?
Yeah, it is.
We're going to drive that diesel one over there in a minute, but what's this one?
This is the 2000 V6 petrol driven.
I bet it goes quite well, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. Yeah. I hate breaking the speed limit, mine. I wouldn't do it.
I bet you're a little tearaway in that, aren't you?
Oh, it's nice, beautiful.
So it gets you around Shrewton then?
Oh yeah, and all over, down to Wales and up to Scotland.
Really?
Oh yeah. I put quite a bit of mileage on it.
What's your occupation then?
I'm retired,
Oh, you're retired.
but I just like driving it.
Yeah, it looks wonderful.
Yeah.
But you're a little boy racer in that, Hugh.
Yeah, I do a lot of cross-country work as well.
Yeah.
I
What's it like
getting off.
across country?
Beautiful.
Is it?
Yeah, plenty of road clearance and ground clearance, and I've never been, honestly, anywhere that it wouldn't get me out of.
Really? That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, there you are. That's a recommendation. So that's a pure unbiased opinion, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
From a good Suzuki
Yeah.
owner. So,
Yeah.
as I say, we're going to go and drive this one, though.
Yeah, fine.
So
Well,
thanks very much for
yeah,
coming
that's
over
good.
to Wilton to talk to us. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, Hugh. Thank you. Bye-bye. Well, behind the scenes at Bray and Sear are people working away, beavering away. And here they are, working away at their computer screens. Elizabeth, how are you?
All right, thank you.
And what's your name?
Gwen.
Gwen? Where are you from, Elizabeth?
Weymouth.
Weymouth. So you come all the way up from Weymouth?
Yes.
Do you? I'll look into that lens and say hello to all your friends in Weymouth.
Hello.
And let me go around here and see Gwen. Gwen, where are you from?
I'm local. I'm from Salisbury.
Are you?
Yeah.
Whereabouts? What road do you live in?
Wilton Road.
Wilton Road. Look into that lens there and say hello to all your friends in Wilton Road.
Hello, friends.
There you are, the hard-working people at Bray and Sear, behind the scenes. Well done. Well, I won't interrupt you. We're going to look at the workshop now, so we'll see you later. Bye. Bye. Wait, here we are. Here we are in the workshops at Bray and Sear. Everyone's working away here. Beavering away on these cars. There's a Suzuki being repaired. Hello, what's your name?
Ian,
Ian. Where are you from, Ian?
Alderbury.
Alderbury. Look into that lens, say hello to all your friends in Alderbury.
All right.
Something's on an MG over here. Who's this? I recognise this man. What's your name? Brian.
Brian.
And what's your stage name? He tells me he sings in a country band, you see.
Dave Montana.
Who?
Dave Montana.
Dave Montana. There you are, that's his stage name. Maybe we can have him on Town TV in future. That'd be quite good, wouldn't it?
With a bit of luck. With a bit of luck, we hope.
No, you're a cable watcher, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
What road do you live in?
I live in Warwick Close.
Warwick Close.
Salisbury.
Look into that lens, say hello to all your friends in Warwick Close.
Hello, everybody in Warwick Close.
Okay, smashing. Right, we're just going to go and do the road test, so won't hold you up.
See you later.
Okay, see you on Town TV. Bye. Well, we're now out in farming country to the west of Wilton. Actually, really beautiful, this part of Wiltshire, I must confess. Don't know a lot about Wilton, but I do know, and it's really beautiful. And we're going to be going off-road in this vehicle. Chris Pacey tells me it's quite simple to operate four-wheel drive. All you do is move this up one notch, and you're into four-wheel drive territory. So we're going to see if we can find a little bit of off-roading somewhere. Now that should be fun, shouldn't it? So let's see what's down here. It's a beautiful part of woodland here, just to the right. I'm getting a bit muddy now. Let's see how easy it is to go into four-wheel drive. You just move it up a notch. Well, that Transit was so quiet, I didn't even know we were in four-wheel drive till the light came on. It said four-wheel drive, so here we go. This is great for a bit bumpy for Steve, the cameraman in the back, but Steve's used to flying around in Lynx helicopters and looping the loop, so he's not worried about these tracks at all. Let's go fast. I don't go. So he told me to go fast, viewers. So this is what I'm doing, and I must admit, this is incredible. It's just handling it as though those bumps aren't there. Maybe difficult for the cameraman, but for the drive, it feels absolutely brilliant. Even the cameraman thinks it's good. Oh, there we go. So there we go through these ruts as though they didn't exist. Quite absolutely amazing. It just clings to the road. In my best Jeremy Clarkson tradition, we can drive anything on Town TV, can't we, Steve? If you can fly upside down in Lynx, you can test drive a Suzuki four-wheel drive through all these ruts, and it is very quick. It's a 2-litre diesel, of course, and it is a very fast motor car. So I wouldn't really want to go 100 miles down this lane, but because it's in the middle of the countryside, but I can assure you this is something else. Well, I've got to tell you, this vehicle is absolutely sensational. That's my unbiased opinion. You want to come and drive one of these things because this is amazing off-road. It's even nice around Wilton, but come out, drive one of these Suzukis. Take it for a test drive. I think it's an amazing vehicle. You love it. Steve, you love it too. So, we'll see you back in the studio. Thanks for watching our road test on Town TV. Bye.
Do you have a problem with damp and condensation? You may not be aware that the problems are caused by everyday living, cooking, taking a bath or shower, drying your hair, and even breathing. How is the problem solved? The Mega-Dry Dehumidifier, a condensation collecting machine. It attracts the moisture throughout your home and holds it in a container, so you can pour your condensation problems down the drain.
Well, here we are down in the International Spring Fashion Show at Longstock Village Hall. We've got the brochure inside here, so much information. It's a real lovely week, and this is just the beginning. And right now, Alan and I are going to go backstage, and we're going to talk to the boys and girls who've spent some time preparing for this show and are very excited. They've got their hair in curlers, they're in all sorts of attire. Let's go backstage and have a look. Follow me, Jace.
Well, I've just popped my head around the dressing room door, and there's people in various stages of undress, so I think I'm going to let Sarah handle this one. So we'll see you backstage with Sarah. So.
Well, thanks, Al. He's got nervous about the states of undress, but hey, we don't care. And guess where we're starting? The men's room. Come along. Hello, boys. Can we come in? Hello. Gosh, there aren't many of you. Is this everybody? Just 4 men. 4 men to all those women. What a night. The boys wanted to be on camera tonight, didn't they? Say, come and see us, they said to me. So tell us, what's it been like preparing for a fashion show in the last few weeks?
It's pretty good, actually. Well, we've only been doing it the last 2 days, but
is it really?
it's come together quite well.
Have you ever done any of this before, any of you?
No, we've just...
Where have you done it before?
I've just got back from Paris at the weekend, so...
Are you a pro then?
I used to be. I'm doing it part-time now, so...
Which model agency are you on?
I'm not with an agency at the moment, but I'm looking.
So how do you get work in Paris?
That was with my agency I set up with about 3-4 months ago, so...
So they must be pretty pleased to have someone like you around, because you can tell the others what to do, huh?
It's for a favour, so...
I see. So, okay, guys, the girls are all in rollers. They've got their makeup done. How about you? I don't see any paint on your face here.
Well, we save it for later. We just got to go in first before. Then we just go in and then put it all on.
What do you mean go in and then put it on? I'm not with you.
It's got massive Apollo fillers put on.
So you will pop in there later and we will see you with a little bit of foundation. You're not going to. And how about the hair? The hair? That's it.
Massive gel.
Well, have you got much on there? No, not too much. We think you look lovely. So show us the wiggle then. How do you do your walk? What do you reckon? We're going to go out there and we're going to expect you to be at your best, okay? We'll see you later. Thanks, guys. Bye. Here we are, Malcolm and I are having a cuddle. We were just stuck in the corridor just now and we're just carrying on from where we left off. How have you been dealing with these little girlies and boys, Malcolm?
Quite severely.
Have you?
But nicely. Because after all, they are giving their services for charity, and for most of them it's half term. They should be out with all their friends.
And they're giving all their spare time to you?
Absolutely.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So were you doing the choreography for this show or was it Jane?
Yes, no, me. I do the choreography, Jane does all the clothes.
Because we caught you wiggling your hips on camera last week.
Oh, you mean at the audition?
Yes.
Oh, that's not fair.
We got you wiggling loads of times.
No, that's not fair. Because you like to know when you're performing. It's not, what
you performed very well, Mal.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Well, I must say, you must have done a good job. We haven't seen the show yet, but we've just spoken to the girls and boys backstage, and they are all brimming with confidence.
No, they're great. I mean, yesterday morning, they didn't know what to expect. Tonight, they're a great team. It's amazing what they have done in 2 days.
It's the excitement of the show, though, isn't it, as well? Just sort of...
And paralysed with nerves too.
Yeah. And also I think when you actually get to the venue and you see the catwalk and you know what you're supposed to do.
We were lucky because we started from the moment, first thing yesterday morning, on this stage, catwalk, in the clothes.
Right.
It's the only way.
Yes.
It doesn't work any other way.
Because otherwise if they're not used to the movement of the outfit.
And they recognise what they do by what they're wearing.
Yes.
Where they go, who they follow, and everything about it.
So where will you be sitting when the show takes
I'm
place?
standing over there, right behind where we're talking now.
Right. What, here?
Right there,
So
I'm
are you
standing.
directing still?
No,
Are you giving them the
no,
bit of-
no.
Just...
Just if they feel a bit nervous, they can look at me and I'll smile.
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh, well,
Aren't you
you know.
supportive?
Well,
we,
that's nice.
we hope that you raise all the money you set out to raise tonight,
Yeah.
and that it's a fantastic success, and hopefully you'll go on to more shows next year. Thanks very much, Malcolm.
I've semi-retired, you know. Thank
Oh,
you
well,
very much.
You don't look like you have.
I've got my bus pass.
Bundles of energy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Total havoc. If you can't hear the noise, you can just about see the people. Let's go in. Ah, the hair's come down. This young lady said, I'm not going to be on TV in my rollers, and that was only 5 minutes ago. Hello? This is crazy. I think there's one mirror and about 55 people in here. Oh, I say, look at that bow. Is that for one outfit or for the whole evening? Who's doing the makeup here tonight then? Who's in charge? Are you? Tell us a bit about it. Who was there not somebody here this afternoon?
This afternoon they're doing our blusher and lipsticks. We just they left some stuff and we did it.
So what do they tell you? How do they say to do it?
Just dark.
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 Because somebody a little while ago was worried about having too much blusher on, which I haven't got and you have. But you see, when you go out in the lights, it drains you, doesn't it? So you're just all going to look absolutely gorgeous. Are you excited?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
How many outfits do you have to wear tonight?
I only have one because I'm a cigarette girl, so we only have one.
Oh, I see. And you?
I've got 5.
5?
Yeah.
Right. And what sort of outfits are they?
They range from casual to brides. So.
And you've got it all sorted, you're confident, no nerves?
A little bit, but you need some, don't you?
But you can all help each other anyway, can't you?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Who else? Oh, she's having her hair done. Let's look at this one then. Are you the hairdresser for the afternoon?
I am.
What's your name?
Martin.
Martin. And do you work in a local salon?
Hey?
Do you work in a local salon?
Yeah, I got my salon, yeah.
They all think Martin's really cool. Yeah. What are you creating on this woman here? Because it looks quite fantastic.
I'm just trying to give her a little bit of oomph, you know.
A bit of oomph. Do you want a bit of oomph?
Yeah, a bit of oomph.
That's what you're getting. Martin, can you give me a bit of oomph, please? Who's this sitting down here then?
I'm
And this is the lady who was complaining about her blusher. Are you happy with your makeup now?
I'm all right, yeah.
And this is the roller section. Who's in charge over here then? Are you the roller girls?
Yeah, we are, yeah.
Do you work with Mark from the salon?
Yeah, we do, yeah. Filigree.
Where's that?
Filigree in the High Street.
Down in the High Street. That's it, we're back again, but I'm not cuddling Jane like I cuddled Malcolm. And Jane, what have you been doing in the last 2 days?
Well, it's really it seems like the last 2 years, actually, but it's really only 2 days, and we've been doing the fittings because all the girls arrive at, say, 9 o'clock on the Saturday morning, the first day of rehearsals, and they've never tried any of the clothes on. And it's been 3 weeks, as you know, since the auditions, and I've completely forgotten what they look like, and you have to sort everybody out into how you think they're going to look, and then it never turns out that way. And then the sort of final thing is that there's 7 brides dresses and 22 girls all wanting to be a bride.
How did you sort that one out?
I think the thing is you've got to be quite firm and not have any arguments about it.
So it wasn't sort of the short straw?
No, it wasn't. It was my... the great thing about being the producer is that your word goes. That's it.
It's final, I know that.
Yes.
You've got some supermodels back there. They're all looking absolutely great.
Absolutely wonderful, yes. Most of them have turned out to be 15. I mean, it's the most incredible thing, yes.
But isn't that about the age they start now, or even younger, isn't it?
Yes, it came as rather a surprise because I thought I was getting sixth form girls from Cricklade and Peter Simmons, and then they turn out to be sort of 14 and 15, and this cannot be sixth form people. They can't be beautiful and brilliant, can they? Or maybe they can.
Maybe they can. I certainly didn't like that when I was 15.
No, neither did I.
Glasses and long socks, me. But anyway, I hope it goes well tonight, Jane. We're
Thank
going
you.
to film the catwalk any minute now, and perhaps we'll have a little word with you at the end.
Fine.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks. Right, we're going through to the wardrobe room now. This is the place where it all happens. Jason, you're very privileged to come in here, and just don't you look any way you shouldn't, okay? Hi, girls. Hi. God, it's like Blind Date. And the man behind the she's not afraid to go on telly in her rollers. We think you look lovely. What's that going to end up like?
Sort of curly with a side parting.
With a side parting. Well, I look forward to seeing that one. Now, I know that you did the show last year. What's your name?
Nikki.
Because we saw you swinging your hips in the rehearsals, and Jane was saying that is how to do it. So have you learnt more this time? Have you been an inspiration to the others? Or?
I don't know. Have I?
Yes. And how do you feel? Because it was your first time, wasn't it, on rehearsal on the audition day? Have you, is your confidence soaring now? Yeah?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What did Jane teach you? How did you actually start on? Because it only started 2 days ago, didn't it?
we were just put onto the catwalk, and they asked us just to walk down, and anything we didn't do properly, they would tell us.
So what are the main things you have to do then on the catwalk?
Remember to cross your legs, cross
Keep
your
your
feet,
head
and walk in
high.
a straight line so your feet are in a straight line.
Right.
And then the men have got to walk with their feet apart.
Oh, right. So you've got to look all dainty and they've got to look all booked.
Yeah. And like how to get down the step without falling over and stuff like that.
I see. And you've got to keep your head up and your tummy in and your hips.
Yeah, don't look down, all that sort of stuff.
So you've got it all sorted. Great. And what's your first costume?
I don't know. I'll find it. Do you want to see?
Oh, yes, please. What's all happening here? Oh, I say. Show the camera. And what's that? Is that the casual fashion section?
No.
Who's the bride tonight? Is there going to be a bride?
Several brides.
Seven now. Is there 7 now?
But there are only 4 men.
I'm not a bride.
Oh, that's it. Jason, we've got 2 free ladies, okay? Here I am, back with the Mayor of Test Valley, Ian Carr. We met before, didn't we, Ian?
did, Sarah,
when the
indeed.
girls had just combed your hair and made your chain of office look absolutely super. Yes.
Digging the south today.
You're learning fast. Have you got any last-minute nerves about this whole event here?
No, we've had a rehearsal. We had a show lunchtime. It went tremendous. I've got every confidence it's going to be a terrific show again tonight.
Great. Were you watching rehearsals as well?
Yeah, I've been here last 4 days. Yeah.
Excellent. So you've been quite involved with the whole thing all along?
Oh yes, very much so actually. I enjoyed mucking in, I guess is that you can say. But the girls have been really terrific. The models, they've worked hard
And the guys, don't forget the guys, Ian.
guys, yeah, no, you won't forget the guys when you see them.
Yeah, I know. We've seen some of them already. Anyway, you've got one of the best seats in the house as well, haven't you? Right at the end of the catwalk.
That's right. Yeah, with the Lord Lieutenant to be there with me, so be nice.
We'll see you later, Ian. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, sir. Bye-bye.
Right, we're back in the old George Mall again, and it's a freezing day. Well, it's a special day too because the sweater shop gave us a prize, and we have our 2 winners with us. We picked them up this morning. They're here to pick up the prizes from Dennis Taylor. That was cold. Still a lot of people here waiting for Dennis to come because Dennis will be here very shortly to sign autographs. So let's go inside and see what's going to happen in there. Right. We got Dennis Taylor with us, isn't this wonderful? We promised you we'd have Dennis Taylor this week, and here's the man himself. How are you, Dennis?
Not bad, just a little bit late, Tony. It took us a while getting here down from Swindon, but great, yeah. I had a very good win in the the Sweater Shop International Open that's on at Swindon, and playing again tomorrow, so it's nice just to pop down to Salisbury here and meet a few of the
There's a very good turnout here as well, isn't it?
It's good. We do quite a bit of this round the show. It's nice just to meet them and give them a nice signed photograph. So. Yeah.
The thing that I remember most, I was coming back from Dublin, where I come from, and you were playing in the final, and that black ball.
Oh, right.
And the television was going on and off. The reception was terrible, but we got you at the end of it. It was wonderful. So thanks for the entertainment for that.
Yeah, that's believe it or not, that's 11 years ago now, 1985. But still the biggest audience of all time on BBC Two after midnight, nearly 19 million. And talking about Ireland, there was a lot of candles lit that time for me when I was playing Steve Davis in the final. But that was great to have won a final like that. It was a shame there had to be a loser, really. But
yeah, it was just touch and go for so long.
That's right. Yeah.
Dennis, you brought the queue along.
Yes, we've got your competition winners here, and they've got a lovely 2-piece queue. It's a self-potting queue. It's never missed a shot yet, so we're going to present it to our lucky winners.
This is Charlie and Betty Jackson who won.
Yeah. Well done, Charlie. Congratulations. If you get the instructions how to put this together, then you're off and running, and we'll see you on the tour next season, all being well. But well done anyway.
Thanks so much indeed, Dennis.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Much obliged.
Thank you very much.
Well done, love. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Dennis. We'll let you get on to your fans here now.
All the best.
Bye-bye now. Right, this is Malcolm McNeil. He's the manager of the sweater shop here, and thanks to him is the reason we're here today, and thanks very much for these wonderful prizes you've given us.
No, thank you very much. I mean, it's a chance for showing Town TV working in the local community, and obviously the prize winners, ideal. I mean, they're chuffed as marbles here.
A wonderful couple, aren't they?
Oh, they're brilliant, yeah. Very chuffed.
They've had Betty and Charlie have been around the shop, and they've chosen 2 pullovers, 2 sweaters here, and you're going to present it to them.
That's right, yes. Yeah, they both.
Charlie.
Here you go, Charlie. This is 2 you chose.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you very much
That's
indeed.
okay.
Yes.
So I don't know, you're going to carry it all now. You've got quite a bit to carry.
I've got the wife to carry that.
All right. There we are. All right.
Thanks so much indeed.
But we do have another surprise for you. Any night this week, towards the end of the week, if you want to go to the snooker in Swindon, we'll take you up and treat you like VIPs.
That's very nice. Very nice indeed.
Okay, that's an extra present from us. So.
Thank you very much indeed.
That's okay.
Yes, much
All
obliged.
Right. Thank you.
Very nice too. Thank you.
Thanks, Malcolm.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
See you again.
Yeah. Thanks, bye-bye.
No matter what sort of cough or cold she has. I'm always concerned, so I choose a paediatric medicine I can rely on, Tixilix. It's specially made for children, and it tastes good, which makes it easier for her to take. And there's a different Tixilix for dry, tickly, or even chesty coughs. I know I can ask my pharmacist which one is right for her. Tixilix Paediatric Medicines, specially made for children.
Hello and welcome to Andover Rugby Club. My name's Roger Smith. We've come up here tonight to speak to Adrian Metcalf, who's a sports therapist. He's actually going to be looking at my ankle, and we're going to have a little chat with him about his sports treatment and how he prevents injuries and that. So if we pop inside, because it's freezing out here, and we'll have a little chat with him. We're inside one of the change rooms in the rugby club now, and we've come to speak to Adrian Metcalf, as I explained outside. Adrian, tell us what it's all about sports. That you're actually a sports therapist and
I'm a sports therapist, yeah. The difference between sports therapy and physiotherapy is that sports therapy aims to cover a specialised part of physiotherapy. Sports therapy actually is aimed at teams, or certainly sportsmen, but also at the team environment. It stemmed from a football association course at Lilleshall, and they have their own sports therapists. And what's happened is they've extended that course and taken it somewhere else now, so it covers all sports. And anyone involved in sport who's got an interest in sports injuries can actually start the diploma course.
Now, most people, if they play sport, they're going to somewhere along the line pick up an injury, as most people do. What is the most thing to sort of get them back to playing sport again? Is the most important thing, sort of, to?
Well, the most important thing is to actually get them back to sport quickly but safely. And the ways of doing that are actually to first of all treat the injury, so you're actually treating the inflammation, the pain, all that kind of thing, but also find out what the origin of the injury was. For instance, it might be a biomechanical fault. It might be something wrong with the person's feet that's causing their ankle to go over, or they need to have a problem.
Well, I personally had an ankle injury. I went over on the ankle, and I was back playing within 2 weeks, and it went over on it again, and it never cleared up. So what would your advice if somebody went over on an ankle, for instance?
Right, for an ankle injury, obviously the first thing you've got to do is try and treat the initial injury. So you've got to put ice on it, compress it, elevate it, and actually try and give the ankle some rest. That will help the soft tissue injury. But you've then got to think about the rehabilitation process. You've gone over on that ankle, you've actually injured some quite important tissues in that ankle. So you've got to then think about the strength, you've got to think about the suppleness, the flexibility of it, and you've also got to think about, with the ankle in particular, the proprioception. And what I mean by that is, when you actually balance on your ankle, you will find on a good ankle, you can balance on one foot, and your foot might twitch a little bit from side to side. On an injured ankle, or even 2 weeks later, you'll find that your ankle will actually move quite a lot and your foot will be twitching quite a lot. The reason for this is that the nerve impulses to the brain and back down to the muscles have actually forgotten their path. They're slower, and so you're much more likely to go over on that ankle again. In addition to that is the strength element. The muscles have been resting for 2 weeks. You're therefore not using the muscles, and therefore they haven't got the strength to straighten the ankle. So that's an example with the ankle why you should go and see a sports therapist or get some professional advice. I'm offering to go and visit football clubs, sports clubs anywhere in the Andover area and offer them free advice on how to deal with injury prevention, and also what they should do with an injury, more importantly what they should not do. Now that could take half an hour, 3/4 of an hour to an hour. It really does depend on the club, and my main aim is to get my point across about dealing with sports injuries.
You was mentioning you've got another course designed for bucket men and people that can get involved in that sort of job, yeah?
Yeah, for those clubs who have what they call a physio, in fact really is a bucket man. He's a man who's got interested in sport and is now slightly interested in sports injuries. Well, I'm actually running a course. It's a treatment of soft tissue injury. It's a sports injury course aimed at these bucket men, or physios as they tend to be called. Now the course actually is running from April to July, and it really gives the participant a good, thorough understanding of anatomy and physiology, how injuries occur, the common injuries that can occur in the body, and more importantly what they should do to deal with those injuries, not only on the pitch or on the field or on the track, whatever sport we're talking about, but also afterwards the kind of rehabilitation process they should take the athlete through.
Because when I played football in the past, I've seen actually injuries made worse by so-called physios.
I've seen exactly the same. I've been involved in sport, and someone who claimed to have a knowledge of sports injuries took the athlete away, and the guy came back with worse injuries, and it took him a lot longer to heal that injury, which is how I came about getting more and more interested in sports therapy and helping athletes.
Well, Adrian, I had an ankle injury a couple of years ago, and probably I didn't see a sports therapist. It could have been prevented probably. I mean, I've got a lot of pain with it at the moment. What should I have done when I initially got the injury?
Well, obviously the first thing that we should think about is trying to deal with any pain and inflammation. If you've got a soft tissue injury, there's absolutely no danger at all in applying what we call RICE, rest, ice, compression and elevation. It's known as RICE, and basically with an ankle, for instance, we should have put the ice on the ankle, pushed it on so that it's actually pushing the cold into there, raised the ankle so that the swelling is helped to drain away, and obviously rest, we're talking about rest not only immediately but also for the next few days to try and let the tissues heal. I must add that if you're applying ice, make sure there is a cloth between the ice and your skin, otherwise you might have a danger of burning your skin. Right, we've got a combination of things here. As well as swelling around the outside of the ankle, you've also got a bit of pain on the inside. Yeah. Now this is due to scarring, and the actual scarring is actually inhibiting the proper action of the ankle. It's actually getting in the way between two bones, so when you push your knee forward, that actually causes quite a bit of pain. Now, one of the elements I can do on there is to actually massage that, quite deep massage, to actually take away some of that scar tissue. That would also link in with massage to drain the effectively the scar tissue away through the leg. We're also going to look at building up the strength of the ankle, and there will be muscles around here which will have weakened because you've actually got used to using it in a different way. Similarly, the suppleness of the Achilles, the calves, the hamstrings, the muscles that go around the ankle, we've got to make sure that they are supple rather than tense, because there's a higher chance that they will actually tear again. Obviously, we have to think about the rehabilitation process. Now, if you're a good standard player, as soon as you stop playing and stop training, you're going to lose your skills, you're going to lose your cardiovascular fitness, you're going to lose your strength. So there's all these things you've got to think about, And it's no good taking the time off, just taking the time off to allow the ankle, for instance, the ankle to heal, and then going straight back into it. You've got to think about the rehabilitation process and actually keeping those elements of your sport to a high enough standard so that when you do come back in, you can go and do a couple of weeks training, then you're straight back into the sport, safely back into the sport.
So if anybody wants to get on these courses, have you got a telephone number they can actually reach you on?
Yeah, my home telephone number is Andover 01264 336 928. And if I'm not in, there is an answering machine. Just leave your name and number and I'll get back to the caller.
Thanks very much, Adrian. And here are the football results for the 17th of February. In the Beezer Homes League, Salisbury 2, Burton Albion 0. Good home win there for Salisbury. They've picked up a bit of form just lately. In the Dewston Wessex League, Totton 0, Andover 2. BAT 1, Bemerton Heath 0. Cowes 0, Whitchurch 1. Great away win there for Whitchurch. In the Club Saver Hampshire Division 1, New Milton 2, New Street 0. Bit disappointing there for New Street. In the Southampton Senior Cup quarter-finals, Romsey 3, Blackfield and Langley 1. Good quarter-finals result there for Romsey. They're in the semi-finals, obviously. The league standings, I'll just quickly run through the league standings. In the Beezer Homes League, Salisbury are currently 12th. They've made a bit of ground. They've played 24 games and have got 33 points. In the Dewston Wessex League, Andover are 6th. They've played 29 games and got 48 points. Bemerton are 9th. They've played 26 games and got 40 points. Whitchurch have moved up a little bit to 13th. They've played 26 games and got 34 points. In the Club Saver Hampshire Division 1, New Street have slipped a little bit to 4th. They've played 21 games and got 43 points. Romsey are 7th. They've played 19 games and got 37 points. That concludes all the results for this week. Thanks once again, thanks to Adrian Metcalf for giving us a bit of advice on sports physiotherapy. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye for now.
Hello, I'm Reagan Beale. Welcome to the Salisbury Journal newsroom. Special pool at a Salisbury school for children with profound learning difficulty has been out of action for 7 months because it leaks. The hydrotherapy pool opened at Exeter House School last summer after a massive fundraising campaign by parents and staff, but pupils were only able to use it for a few weeks before problems began. Contractors say everything possible is being done to trace the cause of the leak and put it right, but the school governors claim no one seems to want to accept responsibility for the fault. Salisbury's popular horse-drawn bus service is no longer going to be seen around the city. South Wiltshire Enterprise Agency Director Richard James, who's been operating the service for 6 summers, announced the replica omnibus has been sold to a leisure complex in Japan. He blamed his decision on the plans to pedestrianise the city centre and the cathedral's refusal to allow the bus to take visitors into the cathedral close. Wiltshire Police have hit back at claims that they're too soft on criminals arrested for serious offences including rape, child abuse and burglary. A Sunday Times report claimed the force was the second most lenient in the country when it came to handing out cautions to offenders. But in a statement, Acting Assistant Chief Constable Michael Rogers said the force followed nationally agreed guidelines in cautioning offenders. A Salisbury Old People's charity is to close after 46 years. The Eventide Group last year warned it could close because of falling membership and difficulties in keeping its hall, the Eventide Centre in Brown Street, running. In April, the hall will be taken over as a drop-in centre for people with Alzheimer's disease. A shopkeeper in the Cross Keys Checker in Salisbury is threatening to withhold his rent because of the precinct's uncertain future. David Parker, owner of the Sporticus Sports Shop, said he was fed up of hearing rumours about which store was coming to take over the empty Safeway supermarket. He said no one wanted to tell other traders in the precinct who was going to take over the site. People in the Salisbury area are being asked for ideas on how to celebrate the millennium. Plans are underway to mark the turn of the century with a party-type event and a project to create something permanent. And a committee has been formed to work on a major project that will be of benefit to the public. District Council Chairman John Hayward wants people to write to him at the Council's Bourne Hill offices with ideas. Work has finally begun on an access for disabled people at Salisbury's main post office after years of campaigning. An internal ramp is being built, starting at the building's Chipper Lane entrance, and should be finished by March the 25th. 7 lambs died after a dog twice attacked a flock of sheep grazing on land near the Old Sarah Monument in Salisbury. Farmer Andy Barrett thinks they were the victims of a wild dog rather than an out-of-control family pet. Sports news. Salisbury City Football Club are in 12th position in the Beezer Homes League Premier Division after beating Burton Albion. The Salisbury side is now enjoying its best winning run of the season so far. And finally, Salisbury Mayor Ricky Rogers celebrated Shrove Tuesday in traditional style by tossing a pancake when he visited the Salisbury College School of Food and Hospitality. Students and staff at the college were selling pancakes in aid of the Macmillan Fund cancer charity. I'm Regan Beale. Thanks very much for watching the Salisbury Journal News Review.
Going shopping? Parking in the Old George Mall is an absolute doddle these days. The choice of shops and stores is simply marvellous, with BHS, Marks & Spencer, River Island, Dorothy Perkins, WH Smith, Next, Dixon's, Our Price, Mothercare, Boots, Monsoon, Hamels, Jacques Vert and many more. Spring stocks and fashions are arriving daily, so visit the new look Old George Mall shopping centre and discover why shopping in Salisbury has never been more enjoyable.
I fly from Gatwick. Palm Air fly direct from Bournemouth next summer to 7 sunny summer destinations, including Malaga, Alicante, Corfu, the Venetian Riviera, the Algarve, Minorca and Mallorca, also from Southampton Airport. See your travel agent soon and ask for the Palm Air brochure and fly the Palm Air Flight 9 Whisper Jet.
Okay, BJ, it's time to go.
See you at the airport.
Camelot Coaches, from the latest and fully air-conditioned luxury coaches to chauffeur-driven limousines and saloon cars. There's only one company you need to call. So for all your travel needs, call Camelot Coaches on Andover 355 379 or fax 345 689. With Camelot Coaches, you're going places.
Well, welcome to St Mary's Church in Andover on a very cold winter's day, lots of snow on the ground. The Handel letters, it's quite, for me personally, quite an interesting story because in this church I grew up in the choir, I guess you could say that, when I was about this big in the early 60s, and I used to sing Handel's Messiah. And so we're going to go inside and just delve about a bit. I haven't been back for years, so just follow me. Well, believe it or not, I used to stand here in these pews in my little cassock and my little ruff we used to have around the neck. And I sing Handel's Messiah besides the other church services. And we had some great times back in the early 60s. It was a great choir, huge choir. And we used to go on choir outings down to Ryde on the Isle of Wight. And it was very daring in those days to shoot water pistols at each other, a bit different to today. But we used to have some great fun, and there were some great characters, and still some people in there. There were Mike Ballpit, you may know him, he was in the choir. In fact, you'll see him on the photograph, which I discovered at the back of the church. And actually, I'm on it too, looking very cherubic. There were the Sainsbury brothers, there was Martin Sainsbury and Peter Sainsbury. I last saw Peter Sainsbury in Soho about 10 years ago. He's turned out to be a film producer. There was my good friend Keith, who was an Andover policeman. Unfortunately, he was killed in a tragic motor car accident on the way back from Southampton. There were some great stories. Ivor Machin, the vicar used to stand up there in that pulpit and deliver his sermons to the congregation, who used to pack the church out in those days. And I can remember stood about here one day, and Ivor Machen turned round to us right in the middle of his sermon and told us all to be quiet in his great big booming voice. Over there is the organ, and I expect a lot of the Andover people remember Lloyd Ponting, who was the organist then and the choir master. And he used to play some really great organ. And what happened every year, we used to put on the something for Christmas. So Handel's Messiah was always one of those events, and I was fortunate enough to sing it in soprano, in alto when I got a bit older, and a bit older I sang it in tenor, and then I sang it in bass, and that's why those letters to me were quite important. And Tony's gone over to Winchester to actually unearth them, and he's going to be talking to Rosemary over there, the archivist, and we'll see what he's going to find out. But first, I just want to show you this photograph that I found at the back of the church. I thought it was quite funny. So, all you people, come on down to this church. It's a beautiful church. Start singing. Sing in the choir. It's a great thing to do. There's Ivor Machen, and there's Lloyd Ponting, and lots of names from Andover's past. There's Mike Bulpitt and Frank Dyer up there, and there's the Noble Brothers. Lots of people. There's Alan Grant, and stood next to him is myself, of course. With a very sort of punky hairdo, I guess, for those days. But they were good days. We used to have some really good fun in the choir. And then I left, and the rest is history, as they say. So we'll see you over in Winchester with Tony Murray and these wonderful missing papers from Handel. Okay, thanks for watching the show.
Well, there's Alan. You never see him like that again. We're over in Winchester at the records office to trace down Rosemary Dunhill, who's put all these letters together from the Harris collection, and it proves that Handel was in Salisbury and in Hampshire as well. So we're going in to see Rosemary now. Right, we're inside the building now, and we've tracked down Rosemary Dunhill, who made this fantastic discovery. Rosemary, how are you? It's nice to see you.
Oh, I'm very well, thank you.
Can you tell me how long you've been trying to track these things down? I'd make sense of all these letters.
Well, the collection is one that we've had parts of for about 20 years, but the latest part of it, which includes the papers of James Harris, came in about 18 months ago, and I started to work on it, I suppose, about a year ago.
And as you went through it, you got more excited because you were discovering more things about it.
That's right. Yes, I mean, we knew that there was a close link between the Harris family and Handel, and we knew that there would be some references to Handel within the collection. But it was as I started to work through James Harris's very substantial papers, the very large numbers of letters to him that have survived, I was amazed to discover that letter after letter had got references to Handel of a very substantial nature, throwing really some quite new light on him.
They're very well kept as well. They're very well preserved. Where did you find all these letters? In the record office?
Well, no, they've been really in the custody of the Harris family from the time when they were created until they came into the record office a couple of years ago.
Right. But now, what's the connection with Salisbury here?
Well, the Harris family moved to Salisbury and indeed to the Cathedral Close in the middle of the 17th century, and they lived there until the death of this James Harris, which was in 1780. So they were at that stage very much of a Salisbury family. After that, I understand it was partly because the family associated the house so closely with the much loved mother and father that after they died, really within quite a short distance of each other, the daughters decided they couldn't bear to live there any longer, and so they moved away. And in fact, the next generation, James Harris's son, who became the first Earl of Malmesbury, inherited a property at Herne near Christchurch, then in Hampshire, which is really what moved the family into Hampshire.
That's fascinating, isn't it, when you delve into these? Can you tell us something about what's on the table here?
Well, this is a series of different sorts of records which illustrate the links between the family and Handel. This volume here is one of a series of volumes of very early versions of Handel's work, which were initially compiled for a lady in Cheshire called Elizabeth Lee, whose signature, in fact, appears in all the books. 1724 was when this copy was made of a work which was first composed in 1722. A question's always been asked about how this collection of volumes actually came to the hands of the Malmesbury family, the Harris family. And one of the things that the letters have answered really is that question, because Elizabeth Lee's cousin was the Earl of Radnor, and he was an intimate friend of James Harris, so they passed to the Harrises through that link.
Oh, right, there's a lovely story about this pigeon song. Handel didn't name it the pigeon song, did he?
That's right. This particular part of the opera Ottone has been headed in Elizabeth Lee's own handwriting, the pigeon song, and the story is told about that when she used to play it on her harpsichord in Cheshire, that a pigeon used to come and sit on the windowsill purely when she played that piece, not when she played any other, and so she called it the pigeon song. That's right.
That's fascinating story there. And what about these letters here?
Well, there are two groups of letters here. This little group here come from Charles Jennens, who is best known as the librettist of The Messiah, probably Handel's most well-known work. But he did also work on a number of other Handel libretti, including a setting of Milton's poems, L'Allegro and Il Penseroso. What these letters actually show was that the original idea for a setting of L'Allegro and Il Penseroso came not from Jennings but from James Harris himself. And one thing that was particularly exciting was that, having discovered that from the letters, we then actually discovered that the first draft that James Harris drew up for that setting still exists amongst the papers.
It's stunning, it really is.
One of the things which these letters particularly show is, in fact, that Handel played a larger part in deciding the form of the libretti of his works than was previously known. I think that it was largely thought before that he more or less sort of bought or accepted a libretto off the peg and then just got down to setting it.
Oh, I see.
But in fact, this letter says that when Jennings took the text of L'Allegro and Il Penseroso to Handel, he looked through it and said, there's too much solemn music together, and I want this to be varied more. So this is really a new look on how Handel actually determined what was going into those texts.
There's a few letters, I don't know which one it was that you showed me earlier, that says he was a bit surly at times, old Handel.
Well, yes, there's always been the story that Handel worked on a fairly short fuse, and I was rather amused to find that one of the relatively few of these letters, which actually refers to Hampshire, says in 1739 that Handel was very surly at Southampton and called out as he was playing on the organ, "Shut the doors or I will leave off instantly."
It wasn't Larry Grayson then that first said that.
This is the book that we've put together, which is really a sort of first report on the light that's thrown on Handel by these very exciting papers. And it's one of a series of papers of this sort that's been produced by Hampshire County Council, which we're calling the Hampshire Papers series.
And where can people get this?
People can get this from the Record Office or from any Hampshire library. And the price is £1 if you actually call in for it, or £1.75 to include postage and packing.
It makes very, very interesting reading. It really does. You've got some work here by Handel, haven't you? You've got something that was actually written by Handel.
Yes, one of the only document within this collection which is actually in Handel's own hand is another of the things that I've mentioned that really sort of shows Handel at work. Well, Handel at work and Handel at leisure, I think I would say.
Right.
Because this actually arises out of a social evening at St Giles, which is a house near Wimborne in Dorset that was owned by the Earl of Shaftesbury's family. The Shaftesburys were cousins of the Harrises. And it says written on the bottom of it, the above air was composed at St Giles by Mr Handel extempore, and afterwards by desire of the company, writ down in his own handwriting. So I think you get the picture of Handel sitting at the harpsichord, just improvising a tune, and people saying, "Oh, that was nice," and him writing it down afterwards, and here we have it with the papers.
That must be priceless. It went for auction, it must cost a fortune. What else have we got? We've got a little booklet here, a little diary, is it?
This here is a diary not of James Harris but of his brother, who was a clergyman, the Reverend George William Harris. It's interesting, incidentally, that he was called George because he was born the day after George I came to the throne, and that actually reflects the fact that the family were staunch Hanoverians. Yeah. George William was a clergyman in Durham, but he spent quite a lot of each year in London, particularly being interested in attending the musical festivities that were going on in London at the time, just as his brother used to. And this diary comes from the year 1750. And in May, he records that he went to the Foundling Hospital and heard the Messiah performed there in the chapel. He says that at some of the choruses, the company stood up. And I wonder whether that's one of the first occasions when people stood when the Hallelujah chorus was performed. And he also ends that little entry in very small writing by saying Handel was out of humour about the organ. So that's another little sort of indication that he wasn't always in the best of tempers.
I wonder why the first performance of Messiah was in Dublin and not in London.
Well, I think that Charles Jennings also wondered that. I think it was very much Jennings' favourite piece. He was a very religious man, and his ideas went very much into the selections from the Bible that he gave to Handel to set. And there's a letter from him, which I haven't actually got out here on the table, which says that Handel has now completed the Messiah, but he's carrying it off to Dublin for the performance, and clearly Jennings was very peeved about this.
I bet he was.
I think that Handel was just offered good money to go and do that particular series of concerts.
It's the same as musicians now.
Absolutely
the more
right.
They get,
yes,
that's where
yes.
they play. Rosemary, you got some proof that Handel was in Salisbury. How did you get that one?
Yes, well, it's always been believed that in view of the closeness of the friendship between Handel and James Harris, that he surely must have visited him in Salisbury. But I was particularly excited when I came across this letter, which is actually a copy of a letter that was written by James Harris to his friend, the Earl of Radnor, when he mentions to him in 1740, when Handel was here, I gave him a concert at my house, and he says what was played at that concert. He says that Handel did us the honour to give us much applause and was in great spirits, and that in the interval between the two parts of the concert, Handel sat down on the harpsichord and played for near half an hour. So this was a very exciting proof that Handel did actually visit Harris in the house in the Cathedral Close, which people can still visit.
Yeah, that's excellent. Rosemary, thanks very much indeed. And don't forget the booklet, and we can get it in libraries in Hampshire.
Libraries in Hampshire, or hit from the record office here.
Thanks, Rosemary.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ken Dykes, presenting the local news direct from the newsroom of your local newspaper, the Andover Advertiser. It's that time of the year when council tax bills start arriving, and this week there's good news and bad news. The good news is that Test Valley Borough Council have kept the budget down to the same figure as last year. However, Hampshire County Council, which accounts for most of your council tax bill, have put theirs up, which means most people will be paying an overall increase of 4% this year. An average Test Valley Band D household can expect to pay around £574 a year from April. Part of the rise could be used to put more police officers on the beat, says Hampshire Police Authority. Worse news is that water bills in the area are set to rise by 6%. An average household will have to pay £225, £11 more than last year, and that increase is twice the rate of inflation. Not surprisingly, the weather has been making news throughout the past week. Local drivers had a tough time on many roads in the area. Even some main roads were badly affected by heavy snow, made worse by drifting in high winds. A local man took his own life because he wrongly believed his fiancée no longer loved him, an inquest has been told. Mr. Michael Fair, who was 40 and lived in Highlands Road, was found hanging from the Iron Bridge in nearby Mitcheldever Road in November last year. His fiancée told the inquest that their wedding had been postponed because of Mr. Fair's drinking, but they were still dating. A verdict of suicide was recorded. Plans to have a white marble effect wall in new toilets planned for the George Yard car park have been poo-pooed by some Test Valley councillors. They say it could become the target for vandals and graffiti. One councillor claimed that the area attracted members of what he called the One Brain Cell Brigade in the evenings. The new toilets are part of a big town centre improvement scheme, and the entire project will now be considered by the planning committee. Local police have warned that the area has once again become a target for con men passing forged £20 notes. Anyone selling items through newspapers, magazines or shop window cards are advised to check the cash carefully before accepting payment. Pupils at Portway Junior School in Andover have raised money for charity by selling cakes and toys, organising a raffle and enjoying a uniform-free day. They decided to donate the proceeds to the Wessex Children's Hospice Appeal, and the appeal fundraiser, Delia Bolden, arrived at the school to be presented with a cheque for £630. Bridge Street Methodist Church is about to close for several weeks while the entire interior is refurbished. However, the congregation will not miss their services, which will be held at Andover's St Mary's Parish Church at the invitation of the vicar, the Reverend Canon Tony Wilds. The Summerfield supermarket chain, which is opening a new store at Luggershaw, is looking for someone local to perform the opening ceremony. Anyone whose birthday falls within the week commencing 28th of February is invited to apply to be the VIP for the day. And finally, Andover men have hit back at a national survey which claimed that northern men are more virile. One local 19-year-old said it was an outrage, and that if he'd been invited to take part in the survey, the men of the north would have been put to shame. This has been the local news for Town TV, presented by Ken Dykes, editor of the Andover Advertiser. All the stories in this bulletin are published in full in your local weekly newspaper.
What's the idea of this, you being around the Chantry Centre? Because we see a lot around town now.
We started off putting two men on the town centre back in September of 1994. Basically, the public want to see policemen on foot, not policemen in police cars just getting out. We wander around, detect crime, speak to the public, high profile, make the public aware that we're here and we're going back to the old ways. They can come and talk to us and they get to know your face.
I suppose it's better for the shop, people in the shops and that, because they know you as well.
Yes, they know me, and we get a lot more information once they can know they can trust you. Before we started, you'd call a police officer and you'd come up in a Panda, and some shopkeepers or people who've been assaulted or had their handbag stolen would never see the same policeman twice. So they wouldn't recognise a policeman's face. But again, with your coverage on TV and in the Andover Advertiser of my charity work, everybody knows me.
Well, they do indeed, and I think this is a great thing to know a face, because as you said before, it's just when you talk to police officers and you never see the same person twice. Well, this is wonderful. So there's two of you on this beat.
There's two of us. Myself, who's full-time, we work between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m, same time as the shops, and a female colleague, WPC Beeson, who has just become a mother again, and she's one of the new police officers who will work in the part-time system, where she'll work 2 days one week and 3 days the other week. That gives her time at home with her to bring her children up as well, without having to leave the job.
Do you have to go out in these pandy cars now? Is this purely what you do?
The only time I need to go out is if I have to do any inquiries on the estates outside of the town centre.
John, what about the younger people in town? Do you get a chance to talk to them very much?
We get a chance to talk to everybody in the centre here. That's a good thing, from the youngsters in the pushchairs who sort of will give you a wave and smile as you're walking along, right through to the elderly, handicapped people. We talk, they'll come up and talk to us, and they think it's brilliant to see the police officer.
You find it more comforting for the older people to have you around here?
The elderly people really come up to us and say it's lovely to see a police officer on foot again. We never see a police officer for years on end, and it's lovely to see one back again.
I think it's a great idea as well, because community policing is something we thought was a past tense, but it's coming back again now.
You've got to, because we are under the police officers. We're talking maybe 100 police officers at the station to cover over 30,000 members of the public. We need the help of the public to help us, or we can't do our job properly. And if we don't get their confidence, they're not going to help us, and we're not going to detect and solve crime, are we?
Well, since you came back on the beat, as it were,
yes.
Have things changed a lot?
A lot of things have changed. We don't get as much public order problems in the Chantry Centre as they used to have. Again, a lot of people know me now, and initially we used to have to be quite firm with them, but now they look at you and say, yes, I'll move on, I'm sorry, and things will quieten down.
Yeah,
So-
but you can talk to them as well. I mean,
We can talk to
It's
them.
not as if you're something a million miles away. You talk to them on a personal level as well.
We do talk to them on a personal level. That's the experience of life that I've gained in the Royal Navy. We all like our alcohol, we all like our drink, so we know what some of these youngsters have gone through when they've had a few drinks. If you talk to them on a personal level and say, look, you've had a good night, you don't want to spoil the rest of your night by getting arrested, why not go home? I'll give you the chance. And they normally turn around and say, yes, sorry to upset you, and their friends will take them home.
It's good, because if it ever happens again, they know there's somebody there who does care a bit anyway.
Yes, well, of course they do, and hopefully that those people will then start trusting the police, and they might help us, and one day I might be lying on the ground with someone kicking me, and that person could be walking past and say, I remember that officer, I'll help him.
Yeah, well, what about youngsters now? They're very young kids. Do you go and see these?
They're very young, are the ones we have to worry about, because we get a lot of parents who turn around to their children and say, see that policeman there, if you don't be a good boy or a good girl, we'll get to take you away.
I think it always happened, even when I was a kid.
It happened when we were children, but it frightens the children. We go out to the schools and tell the children, beware of strangers, stranger danger, things like that, don't talk to strangers. Always go to speak to a policeman. But if that child's got it in his mind that his parents have told him that policeman will take him away, he won't have no faith or trust in him.
Oh, indeed, yeah. So you go to the schools and sit them all down and talk to them and make them aware of you.
We go to some of the schools, but we do have a school liaison officer who does most of the schools in the town. But we go to some of the junior schools and we make them aware.
John, thanks very much for talking to us today.
That's okay.
Maybe we can do it from time to time, and we can catch up with what's
If
happening
you want to
here.
keep update what's happening, there's no problem.
Thanks
Okay.
again, John.
Bye.
Bye now.
Did you know that without proper insulation, you could be losing 35% of your heating through your walls and 25% through your loft? If you'd like to know how to save 25% on your heating bills, phone the specialists. Anna Valley Insulations on 01 264 350 171, or you can fax them on 01 264 333 915.
Hey, listen, Colgate Total keeps on protecting you, even after you finish brushing. Colgate Total's antibacterial protection helps fight against plaque and cavities while you're working, and even against tartar and gum problems while you're enjoying yourself. Colgate Total, brushing that works between brushings.
So what's so new about them?
Well, it made them thicker and softer.
But why?
I can't think of a reason. Can you?
New Kleenex for family tissues. Because they're softer and thicker, we've had to make the box bigger.
How's a dog supposed to get any kip round here?
New Andrex is even softer, so it's now squeezably soft.
Ooh. Aha, now there's an idea. Go on, go on, go on. Yeah, got it. Ooh, peace at last.
New Andrex, so soft it's squeezably soft.
Well, what a lovely day.
It's wonderful. Weather's very strange this week, isn't it?
It's been bizarre. We've had snow and snow and snow and more snow, and now it's going.
Yeah. And we wanted to do another test drive this week up in Thruxton and couldn't do it because of the snow.
We couldn't do it. Yeah, look out for the test drive in the Marcus Le Mans 500. That was sensational. I'm going to be bringing you that next week.
Beautiful car, wasn't it? Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Sorry about the pancake race, but it snowed so much on Monday night and Tuesday morning that hardly anybody could do it. So the fire station just going to have to retain the cut for another year.
Yeah. There's only one pancake day during the year, isn't there, unfortunately? There you go.
Never mind. Still, we've had a great week. We've been all over the place. And we've got the competition result coming up for you. And had loads of people go in for this one. And what were the correct answers for our, what was it? Trip for two to the Anvil to see Mike Reid, wasn't it?
Yeah, and dinner for two, plus a bottle of wine down at the White Hart in Andover.
Thank you, Simon. The old boss down there, well done. So two great prizes. And I suppose, what were the answers? What was Mike Reid in?
EastEnders.
Right. And who's his co-star in EastEnders? Cockney actress?
Barbara Windsor.
Barbara Windsor. And
I forgot that.
Yeah. What was Joan Collins in? No, she wasn't in Knots Landing, Steve. She was in Dynasty or Dynasty, wherever you come from, which side of the pond you come from. So those are the correct answers. Where's the golden bucket?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the golden bucket. Look at this prize. Look at this next prize coming up too. This is a great prize coming up for next week. Shall I do it?
Go on then.
Who's going to be the winner? And it is a Salisbury number, and it's Diane Swatledge. I think it's Diane Swatledge. Anyway, Diane, you won that great prize. You're going to beat Mike Reid, I think, if we can get you backstage. That should be fun. So that's a Salisbury number. Well done, Salisbury viewers, for ringing in your thousands. But ring in for the quiz because you stand a pretty good chance. We normally get about 100, 150 correct answers a week.
That's it.
So the odds are pretty good on you winning a prize. So all you cable viewers, or anybody else for that matter, keep ringing in. So what's this week? What have we got? What's that over there, Tony?
This is a dehumidifier.
A dehumidifier. I can't say that very well, but I've just said it.
This was on the show. We showed a couple of weeks back.
That's right.
How the whole thing was made, and it's an Andover company that makes it, and they're doing great. They really are.
Thanks to the exposure on Town TV.
Well, but of course. But this does all the works. It keeps all the damp out of your house and gets rid of condensation. If you place it in the right place in your house, it does all that, and it's a wonderful machine. It's
Just right for this one. How much is it worth?
About £200.
£200, a brand new dehumidifier. It's something you think you don't need, but if you look at all your windowsills and you see all that water running around, and it'll get rid of it all. And you can win it on Town TV by answering these 3 simple questions.
Yeah.
These are all D questions, dehumidifier, D.
I think you got a joke about D, haven't you?
What was that? Oh, I know, yeah. How many D's in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? How many D's in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
I don't think... What?
You don't know? 126.
126?
Even Jason laughed at that one.
That was a joke you had.
Okay, all right. Right, these are D questions. D for Christian names and all that sort of stuff. So, you may have watched the Brit Awards this week, and our good friend Mr. Barry was up there doing his bit, and he was really good. What's a D for Mr. Barry's Christian name? Or Bowie, or Barry, whatever way you want to say it. What is a D for Mr. Bowie's Christian name? Disney character.
Yes. Yeah.
Mr. Duck.
I love these.
Who thought of these?
No.
These are 3 questions, by the way.
Go on.
What's a D for Mr. Duck's Christian name?
Yes.
It's not Goofy, is it?
No, it's not. No, it's good. Even I can spell that.
That's the second question. And the third question, you saw us doing the Messiah this week, so we'll have the D for what is it when 2 people sing together?
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
That's quite an intelligent question, isn't it? So, right, the D for Mr. Barry's Christian name, the D for Mr. Duck's Christian name, the Disney character, and the D for when 2 people sing together. So those are the 3 questions. Ring us on Andover 390.
390.
Or Salisbury 555.
222.
Or fax us on Andover 390.
391.
Or send us a letter to our post office box, which is 555 Andover. So do all those things, and you stand a very good chance of winning a £200 dehumidifier. How about that? I wouldn't mind one of those in my
Something you don't think you need, but we tried it out here, and it works perfectly well.
Yeah.
It's excellent, really good. Yeah.
Anyway, coming up on next week's show, and I hope you enjoyed this last one, we've got a really lovely piece on the gala night at Winchester.
Oh, yes.
Emma Thompson, if we can get anywhere near her. We'll see what happens. She's going to be in Winchester tonight. We're also in Salisbury for the Olympic Appeal Dinner and the Salisbury Journal Sports Awards 1995. And if you look at the front of the Salisbury Journal and you see Dennis Taylor there.
Yeah.
Who was that TV?
Charlie Jackson.
Who was that TV company that said a TV company gave an award?
Thanks.
That was us, Town TV, your local TV station. So we're also at the Andover Leisure Centre soon. And also, this is for all you people who organise fetes and shows and all that stuff throughout the year. We're going to have a road show, the Town TV Road Show.
Yeah.
We're going to be working with the Salisbury Tourism Organisation, and they're going to let us use their big road show. So we're going to be towing that all around Wiltshire and Hampshire this year. So if you've got a village fete or a show or anything you want some publicity for, Town TV will be there to cover it with our cameras and with a band as well, and all sorts of things. We'll be giving away T-shirts, photographs, the whole bit, won't we?
We'll have to do it on the first come, first served basis because a lot of people have fates on the same day.
Yeah.
So that's the only way we can probably fairly do it.
So if you're organising an event, ring in, give us your dates, and we'll be there with our road show. So that's going to be fun.
Yep, I'm looking
all
forward to
throughout this year, until it gets too cold not to do it any longer.
Yes, exactly. Fair weather road show.
Yeah, that's right. So thanks for watching the show. We're going to go inside now in case we freeze to death, but it's not that cold. It's a lovely day, isn't it?
Yeah, it's wonderful today, yeah, wonderful.
And we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching, thanks to all the crew, and thanks to you, the viewers. Bye for now.
Bye now.
Bye.
Here is the weather forecast provided by the Met Office, Southampton Weather Centre, for the weekend and the outlook for next week. Saturday, a few sunny spells, otherwise cloudy with showers or longer spells of rain. Mild, top temperature 9 Celsius in fresh southwesterly winds. Sunday, a day of sunshine and showers. Some of the showers heavy with hail. Top temperature 8 Celsius in fresh southwesterly winds. And the outlook for the rest of the week, staying unsettled with showers by day and frost with patchy fog overnight. Turning colder, but with winds easing.